What is up and how's it going? Welcome back to another episode of Against the Spread Picks with your boys at the Noble Steady Sort of Sports Talk. I am your host, Tyler, and I'm joined with Shane O'Mac. Shane, how's it going, buddy?
What's up, brother?
And I'm here with Joey. Joey, what's up, man?
What's happening?
Nothing much. I mean, other than the fact we got a fancy new intro for this episode as well. We're trying to step some stuff up over here, bring up some production value.
We're finally figuring it out.
We are, slowly but surely, slowly but surely. Well, look, we're here to bring y'all entertainment. We're here to bring you picks. We're here to bring some, hopefully, some winning picks to you. We're going to do things a little differently this time. Instead of rolling through every single game and having y'all listen to our analysis on every single one of them, we're going to pick, I think we have 4 games picked out for y'all today that we're going to highlight and that we want to talk about and hopefully win y'all some money. Boys, y'all ready to jump into it?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right. Well, the first game we're going to talk about is going to be the Texans at the Chiefs. And the Chiefs are going to be a 2.5-point favorite with an over-under of 41.5. Shane, why don't you take this one over for us and tell us your pick and why?
I'm going Texans plus 2.5. This is based on, obviously, Mahomes not playing, I'm assuming. But I still think they'll put up points. I mean, the Texans offense could easily cover the majority of that over, so I did go over. I still think that they'll move the ball. Andy Reid will put his players in to at least compete, but I think the Texans, will pretty much easily win this. So,
okay, all right. Joey, what's your thoughts on it, buddy?
Yeah, I agree with Shane on that. It's going to be tough for them to, they've been struggling lately. The Chiefs have. Even with Patrick Mahomes healthy, and now that ankle is going to be bothering him. He showed last year that it didn't bother him, getting to the Super Bowl. But, I don't think they should test it. They are pretty much a lock to get the home field advantage that they need. But I do say, with saying that, the Texans will cover. It'll be a close game, back and forth. No rain, so that shouldn't affect really a whole lot. But, yeah, Texans are going to take care of it.
Yeah, no, there is no chance of rain for the forecast. Thank you, Joe, for bringing that up. It's actually going to be 33 degrees with a 0% chance of rain at time of the recording. Look, we all know meteorologists could be completely wrong, but we're just going to throw out the weather forecast that we looked up before the show. That's going to be included in it. We give you all the analysis we can. That being said, I agree with y'all. Texans are going to cover the 2.5. Mahomes' injury is concerning. I think this leans a heavy Pacheco, Kareem Hunt kind of game. More along the lines, hey, we're going to lean on defense and not put Mahomes in situations where he's going to be exposed. I know, especially with the left tackle issues that the Chiefs have been having. Do you really want him out there with Will Anderson screaming down the edge? No, I don't think so. So I think it's going to be more running. The Texans, to me, the offense has been getting a little hotter lately. I'll give you that. Still doesn't look the same as it did last year. So I'm going to go with 2.5 with the Texans. And then I'm not going to take the under, unlike y'all. I think it's actually going to be kind of a defensive, muddy kind of game. Like I could see it being a 13-10 kind of performance. But that's just me.
I'll be honest. If I'm the Chiefs, I sit Mahomes for the next 2 games. You have Carson Wentz as a backup. No, he's not the same as he's not Patrick Mahomes by any means, but he can at least get the job done and take care of business for the next 2 weeks. Let Mahomes heal because they play Saturday. Their next game is Wednesday. So, that quick turnaround, you kind of save the ankle. Let him, get healthy in time for that Christmas Day game.
Yeah, I would say more the Christmas Day game would be. I don't know if you sit him down for both games, but definitely if you're going to sit him down, probably for this one. I think he's going to play just knowing Mahomes. Shane, anything else you want to add on this game?
Yeah, I think like you said, you sit him. See how the rest of the AFC playoff picture plays out, and if you don't need to play him on Christmas, you don't play him. You let him rest. If they lock up the first round bye for some reason, then you don't need to play him. But as of right now, they still potentially could win the game and lock it up, or if they lose the game, then he might need to play. So I think they'd give him a week off and see how the AFC playoff picture plays out.
So with that being said, so let's say they lock it up, right? I believe they have a 2-game lead at time of the recording before this week starts, with 3 games left to go. So realistically, they would have to win at least 2 because Buffalo does have that weird tiebreaker over them. I mean, does have the head-to-head win victory over them. But I'm with y'all. Like if it's going to be a risk of re-injury, there's no need. Now we'll throw it out there, and we wouldn't be a good show if we didn't at least ask it. Are you worried at all about rust or anything? Because that would be, let's say you sat him just the rest of the year, right? That would essentially be a month without playing football with no game action.
No.
Okay, I'm just look. We'd have to ask.
No, I get you. I'd say some other positions. He might not run as much when he comes back, but they don't need him running. They got Pacheco who runs like a bulldozer. They need to get the ball to their playmakers and let them do the running.
That's fair. That's fair.
And just so that you're aware, the Chiefs can clinch the number 1 seed this weekend. They need to win, and the unlikelihood of this happening, but they would need a Bills loss against the Patriots. So if they win on Saturday and somehow the stars align and New England wins, you sit Patrick Mahomes the rest of the year. You let Carson Wentz just take care of business. Let Mahomes get healthy. And honestly, for Patrick Mahomes, rust would be a problem for maybe 2 drives, and then he'd figure it out.
That's fair. That's fair. And by the way, I just want to say, Joey, in the year of our Lord 2024, about to be 2025, the fact that you're still talking about Carson Wentz is fantastic to me, and I love it. Thank you for that tidbit there, Joey. Thank you. So moving right along, I think we're pretty much done on this game. So like I said, we're moving right along to another AFC powerhouse game. We got the Pittsburgh Steelers going to Baltimore, who is a 6.5-point favorite with an over-under of 44.5. Before I kick this over to Broseph, let me get you the weather forecast. It's going to be a crisp 35 degrees with a 12% chance of rain. Joey, who you got and why, buddy?
This one was tough. Because honestly, the Steelers are still a good team with really good coaching. Yes, they fell to the Eagles. However, this is an AFC North matchup. Honestly, I had it at Ravens -6.5. It's going to be a back and forth. I don't feel confident in my pick. But I feel like if the Ravens win, they're going to cover.
Okay.
But I mean, they have something to play for this week. The Steelers can clinch the AFC North if they win, and that's it. The Ravens still have a shot at it. If they win, they get it. So this is a winner-take-all matchup this weekend.
Yeah,
and it's going to be really tough. And it's going to be really tough because these are also the other 2 teams that are going to be playing on Christmas Day. So they have a quick turnaround coming up. So it'll be interesting to see. I think, like I said, I'm not super confident on my pick, but, gun to head, Ravens -6.5 is the way to go. And the over.
All right. Shane O'Mac, where are you at with this one, buddy?
I confidently have the Ravens at -6.5 in the over. I think if you look at the way they're calling the offense last week, they're trying to pad Jackson's stats. I think they're going to throw the ball more. If they can get ahead of them, if you've noticed, they're not wasting Derrick Henry. If they're up, they're going to Justice Hill, which they're passing the ball a lot more. They're getting up on them. I think the Steelers, I'm a big fan of the Steelers, love the coach, but I think they're starting to fall apart a little bit. Like they've been riding this, they've just been putting together wins, and JJ Watt's hurt, Pickens has been hurt. Like at some point, the roster isn't that talented. It's very surprising that they've got to the level that they're at now. I just think the Ravens will destroy them in this game.
All right. Well, that's fair. And look, yeah, the Steelers did get a big loss last week to the Eagles. But with that being said, they lost to the Eagles. Pickens is out. TJ Watt's hurt. Who else? I mean, they got Russell Wilson playing quarterback. Najee Harris looks like a plotter right now, not playing that well. They deal with more injuries on defense. With all that being said, I'm taking the Steelers +6.5, and I'm taking the under. AFC North matchup, like Joey said, for the division. This is going to be more pride than anything. Lamar Jackson is has struggled against the Steelers. I will say, if it was a 3-point spread or a 2-point spread, I'm taking the Ravens. but that 6.5 is too large of a number for this kind of slobber knocker, 3 yards in a cloud of dust game that I think it can be. Because I don't think that the Steelers are going to let them just air the ball out with Lamar Jackson, right? Because you're not going to let your rival pad their stats for him to go back-to-back MVP, which I don't think he's going to get anyway, regardless of what they're going to do. I just think the Steelers, I'm going to trust in Tomlin. I'm going to trust in the pride and that they want to wrap this division up. Is there anything else you want to talk about on this one?
No. I think I got to play against Lamar Jackson this week.
Oof.
So,
hey, then look, I just gave you the game plan on how it's going to happen, where you're going to win for victory. Okay, that's how it's going to go for you.
When we get off of doing this, I'll send you the videos that Matt Villio has been sending. He made like trailers for the semifinal matchups in our league. They're pretty epic.
Oh God, I can't wait to see these.
All
I
right,
cannot
I'll send
wait
them
to
over.
see these. Yes. So, Joe, is there anything else you want to add to this one?
No, it's going to be a good game.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be.
I'm definitely happy that it's a Saturday matchup, so that's the only game going on in the NFL at that time.
I unfortunately will not be able to watch it. I forgot there were Saturday games and have a date night with my wife. So
I don't know what's going on Saturday.
During the day.
I know I have something Sunday. I don't have anything Saturday.
Even better.
Yeah,
Saturday,
Saturday,
it's a 3:30 kickoff.
Yeah, noon and 3:30.
Yes. All right, never mind. We're good, gentlemen. We are good. Anyway, on that good news, let's move right along. Now, look, this may not be the most competitive game we're about to talk about, but good Lord, are their storylines out the wazoo in this one. So first and foremost, we have 2 new starting quarterbacks. 2. We're going to have Drew Lock come back and start for the Giants, last I heard. And we are getting the Michael Penix debut. Kirk Cousins, after signing a 4-year, $100+ million contract, is now being sat down for the 8th overall pick rookie. And look, for good reason, too. Kirk Cousins has been awful this last 5 weeks. Like, what? So, time recording, it's a few days after the Monday night game against the Raiders. My goodness. Good Lord. You can tell there's no confidence in his throws anymore, right? Like, he doesn't put his foot in the ground and just let it rip. There's a few times Drake London was wide open if he just threw with any kind of anticipation, and it's just not there anymore. So I think the move was needed for sure. The fact that it actually happened this season is blowing my mind, and it's hilarious. I did not see Kirk Cousins being this bad. But before we get into the picks and everything like that, I wanted to talk to y'all because this has happened before. I mean, this happened after our recap show. So I want to get y'all's opinion on it. A, where do they go from there, the Falcons as an organization? And B, if you're Kirk Cousins, are you just holding them hostage and saying either pay me my money or cut me like Russell Wilson? Shane, I'll kick to you first on this one.
I really don't know how the contract's structured. I think we talked about this. You know, if Penix comes out and looks great, I think Atlanta's so scarred from having that quarterback situation just a year ago. I think they'd pay Cousins to stay there and mentor him because Cousins would help him. He's not like Aaron Rodgers. So I think that, you've signed him to the contract. He's got the guaranteed money. You might as well utilize him the best way you can. If there's no benefit to cut him, keep him. Because if Penix doesn't do well, maybe because like I said, I don't think Cousins is fully healed. I don't think he's been. I don't know if he's washed as much as he's just not fully healed. I think he rushed back. So
that's fair.
You can't overstate the fact that they having 2 good quarterbacks on the roster. So if Penix is good, you let Cousins mentor him until you can get out the contract. If Penix struggles, then let Cousins heal up and hopefully he comes back and looks better.
Real quick, Joe, before I kick to you on that one, speaking of the contract, just to give you context,
Okay.
From my understanding, it is it is a 4-year deal, but essentially it's a 2-year, $50 million contract, right? Or like 2-year 100, so some along those lines. I know the first 2 years were basically all the money is. I believe it was a 4-year, $180 million deal with the first 2 being 100 guaranteed. And I think that's where the big money is. Also, there's a full no trade clause in his contract. So he basically holds all the marbles here. Joey, before I go to say how I think it's going to play out, how do you think it's going to go?
I think, honestly, if you're the Falcons, you try to tell him, like, look, mentor him. We will continue to pay you what you are owed for your contract. he has a potential out in 2026. It's $35 million in dead cap for them. So,
As Saints fan, we know that's not a big deal.
yeah. So basically, I feel like he knew it was coming when they drafted him that, hey, if I underperform, they're going to go with the rookie. If I'm Kirk Cousins, I know I'm at the twilight, like I'm at the end of my career. Do something to give back to the game and help this young quarterback out. Because like we talk about, there is no quarterback development in the NFL. And Tyler, I think you said this on the last episode, the Atlanta Falcons are the only ones who did this right in drafting a young quarterback and having a veteran brought in who can teach him the way to play right. And, when you make mistakes, how to recover from that. So I think they'll keep him. I think the only way that, he'll be done is he'll retire. I don't think he's going to go anywhere else. Unless somehow he just decides, I'm going to waive that no trade because I want to give it one more shot somewhere else. It'll be interesting to see for sure.
So Joe, I would love to take credit for that, but there's no way I talk that lovingly about the Falcons being that competent because I shat all over the decision to take Michael Penix at.
Well, it was something where
it can't be me. I would love to take credit for it.
It was something where, you sat back and you're like, holy shit, they did it right. Like they were the only ones who, they drafted a young quarterback and said, well, we have a veteran.
Hindsight being 2020. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like it came from a hindsight 2020 place. It wasn't like, oh, hey, they did a good job. Great job, Atlanta. It was, maybe they did do it right. Who knows? I
gotcha. So I'm feeling quite the contrarian to y'all tonight. I don't see how you can ever. I don't see Kirk Cousins being like, yeah, I'm going to spend the last, like you said, twilight of my career, being a backup, being a mentor. That's not what he went to Atlanta to do. He went to Atlanta to win. His wife's family's from there. He was going here to play his last few years of his career and call it a day. I honestly think he plays like he has the Falcons by the short hairs here. Let's not fool around here. I think it's going to go the way the Russell Wilson situation went last year with the Broncos. I think it's just going to make it uncomfortable for him to the point where they're just going to release him. He goes to a new team, and basically the Falcons foot the bill for the entire year again. And you know what?
Bring him to the Saints, baby.
You joke. That was one team I thought of. I just don't know if we're going to, with Derek Carr being on a roster, that's a lot of money to invest to another guy that maybe on not worth it as much.
You sign him to the league minimum and let the Falcons pay, and then let them beat the Falcons at least twice.
But I got a team for you. It's the same team that just exploited this loophole with Russell Wilson. You tell me you can't go to Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
I mean, Russell Wilson's done after this year. It's on a 1-year deal. Like, I don't think they trust Justin Fields to take over. Why not? It's a way you keep your defensive players paid on the talent on that side of the ball while getting a great deal on a starting quarterback. Tomlin doesn't want a rookie. He doesn't want to develop somebody.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it may not happen. It probably wouldn't happen, but it's interesting to think about, right?
Yeah.
I just don't see a world where you can, at least in this scenario, I know we've seen guys get benched, rookies this year, like from last year's class, and then come back in. Anthony Richardson, Bryce Young. But they started from day one, right? I feel like if Michael Penix comes out and is still horrible, you can't just go right back to Kirk Cousins. Like, you have made a decision now throughout the last 3 games. It is Michael Penix's team to lead and prepare and everything like that, because you don't want to wreck his confidence going into next year.
Kirk Cousins to the Jets. There you go. They get rid of Rodgers and bring him in.
Oof. Hey, one old Achilles for another old Achilles. Now let's get to the important part. Let's talk about.
I will say before you get there, so I'm just kind of looking at the contract plans.
Mm-hmm.
If they release him as a post June 1st cut, it wouldn't save immediate cap space, but it would clear them of the $57 million in cap he's doing his final 2 years of his deal. So maybe they wait until after June 1st to cut him, and then
I mean,
that's what I would do just to save some money. But
Yeah, he just never struck me.
You're still gonna have to pay him as 2025, but at least 26 and 27, you're out scot free.
That's fair. Yeah. So let's, like I said, thank you, Joe, for that one. Let's jump into the betting side of it. We have the Falcons at an 8.5-point favorite against the Giants. The Falcons are at home, and the over/under is 40.5. Shane, I'll let you go first on this one, big dog.
I think the Falcons are going to run all over the Giants. I think the offense, the weapons he has, is set up to, run his style of offense that he ran at Washington. He's got big tight end. He's got fast guys in McLeod and Mooney. He's got a big target in London. He's got two good running backs. The offense is set up for him. He's probably going to do, or I hope he's going to do, what Caleb Williams should have been doing all year, which is looking good at quarterback because they put weapons around him. So,
I'm gonna buy you a Caleb Williams jersey for Christmas.
I wouldn't wear it. I'd wear a Cesar Ruiz jersey before I wear a Caleb Williams jersey. So, I think, and this is not because I might have to start Michael Penix at quarterback in the quarterfinals of fantasy in Dynasty. I think this kid's good, and I think he's got all the weapons in the world. So all he just has to do is run the offense. He doesn't have to win. He doesn't have to do everything to win a game. He just has to come out and play quarterback like he knows how to. Their defense has stepped up. Their defenses look good. I just think their defense can potentially score twice in this game easy against the Giants. So I went Falcons in the over because I think the Falcons can easily score 42 points on the Giants.
Wow. All right. Joey, you care to follow up that strong take from Shane? If I'm looking at the show doc, you may feel a little stronger than he does. Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, I think the hype behind Michael Penix is going to be really high for this team. A lot of these guys are going to look at it and say, hey, let's do good for this rookie. And like Shane said, they surrounded him with talent. They've got some fast guys. He can sling the ball. There's no reason that the Falcons shouldn't. I felt comfortable enough that they walk it up to minus 10.5. It's going to be over, but it's not going to be a game.
Okay.
The Giants right now are in save my job mode, and I think it may already be too late for the head coach and possibly the GM.
If they don't fire that GM, that owner, after showing that clip numerous times from Hard Knocks, that GM looks like he's lost doing that job. So,
where was he at before the Giants?
The Bills.
Foot Locker.
No, he was the assistant GM for the Bills.
He was selling shoes at Foot Locker, I'm pretty sure, but no.
He was a lowly shoe salesman.
I mean, how great are the Falcons to put this kid out against the worst team in the league too? It's pretty strong.
It's the way to go. Because if you think about it, you have, say he does really well against them, and then
he's got the Panthers. I think
put him up against the Commanders just to see what he does, and then after that, he's got the Panthers. So he's got a confidence building game. Let's see what you got game, and then another confidence builder that could go into a playoff game.
Yeah, Yellow. The Commanders aren't a prove-it defense to me. They're
not, but they're not the Giants and they're not the Panthers.
Well, no, of course. I would say more along the lines of can you keep up with Jaden Daniels?
I think that's where I say what have you got game is
it makes
keep
sense.
up with basically,
the rookie of the year.
I'd say top 3 rookie. A contender of the Rookie of the Year title.
No, he's Rookie of the Year. I will fight.
I think he's Rookie of the Year, but I'm hedging my bet by saying he's going to finish top 3.
All right, let me do this real quick.
Do we need to talk about the Heisman Trophy?
No, time out again. Real quick. Let me give my thing, and then we'll time out. Let me say my pick, and then I will get into my dialogue. Okay. Falcons 8.5. Everything y'all said. I think Penix is going to tear this defense up. It's more along the lines of Giants being that bad. I'm not anointing Penix yet. I think the Giants are that terrible. 8.5 over. Let's see what the kid's got. But Rookie of the Year conversation. First of all, okay. Which coach would you rather have mentoring a young QB? Dan Quinn or Sean Payton?
Sean Payton, unfortunately, but I wouldn't say that Dan Quinn is mentoring the QB. I would say Cliff Kingsbury is, and I would take Cliff Kingsbury over Sean Payton.
Okay. We'll agree to disagree on that one.
But I hate Sean Payton.
I know you do. I'm talking objectively, though, not with feelings, just objectively.
I can't do it with him. He's a douche.
But so my thinking is, Bo Nix has more around him and has more of a support system. I feel like, and don't get me wrong, he's been great, but I feel like that Jaden Daniels is winning for the Commanders, right? That's just my opinion. But, and honestly, who I'd put above Bo Nix is Brock Bowers. What that dude is doing on a crap team of the Raiders is incredible. He's going to crack 110 receptions this year.
So
for a tight end, which is
So
insane.
to give you the odds, if you're going to bet right now, offensive rookie of the year minus 4,000, Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
Bo Nix plus 1,200, Brock Bowers plus 2,200.
I would take Brock over Bo. That's just me personally. But man, how collectively wrong was the fantasy football community about this kid, huh? When he went to the Brock Bowers, when he went to the Raiders, like the majority group thing was like, "Oh, he's gonna suck this year. Don't even waste your time." Well, good Lord, was he at 90 receptions now?
Something like that. I know in the rookie drafts where he was projected to go top 4 in both of my leagues, he fell to like 11 and 12 or 10 and 12 or something.
I got him in 10 in our league.
Yes, you traded right above me to grab him.
You're dang right. I knew what I was doing
because I had him in the other league already.
Yeah, I knew what I was doing. But anyway,
trying to think if I had I had the 12th pick of that, or I had the last pick.
The way it went is you went Daniels in that.
I went Daniels, and then I went
then
Thomas.
Yeah. No, you went
Thomas at 12.
Yeah, you got him at 12.
Okay.
He fell. He came back around at 12. No, in our other league, he was falling at 10. I jumped from 2-5 to 10 to get him. Anyway, we digress. Anything more about this game? I think we're all in agreement. Penix is going to do great. We're expecting big things from him. Also,
back on the Rookie of the Year deal. So they put out a Rookie of the Week award.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the NFL does.
Mm-hmm.
Jaden Daniels has won that 8 times.
Yeah.
Bo Nix is second with 3 times. Yeah. And then Braylon Allen and Keon Coleman have each won it 1 time.
Braylon Allen had to be for that one game he had the two tutties in.
7 rushes for 33 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 receptions for 23 yards, and 1 touchdown in week 2.
Yeah. And Keon Coleman had like a 150-yard game. But anyway,
4 receptions for 125 yards.
Yeah, I knew
in week 7.
Yeah, I knew he had a pretty big game. But gentlemen, let's move right along to our last game on the slate that we're going to cover today. And that's going to be our New Orleans Saints going to frigid Green Bay. And where they're a 14.5-point underdog with an over-under of 42.5. The forecast, gentlemen, is 30 degrees with a 46% chance of snow. Other notes on this game: Spencer Rattler will be the starting quarterback. Derek Carr is out again for this game, for this matchup. This is going to be on Monday Night Football, gentlemen, in prime time. I am going to be, I don't know, man. 14 is a big number. I'm trying very hard not to pick with my heart here. I'm going to go with the belief that the Saints defense is going to do just enough to keep it within 13 points. That is the only faith I have, is 13 points. Or 2 touchdowns. But 14.5 is too large for me to take as a fan and feel okay about it. Shane, where are you at with it, buddy?
I'm not betting against the Saints once again. 14.5 is a lot of points. I think they can hit the over. I think Rattler was moving the ball. You got a guy in Jamal Williams, if Kamara can't go, that's used to playing in the cold weather up there. You're gonna just have to lean on whoever you got left. But they're moving the ball. I think Green Bay is going to score pretty easily. But I think the Saints will be able to keep it within 14. You know, especially with their defense. The defense is playing strong, but I haven't bet against them because they just keep covering. I mean, there was 7.5 favorites last week, and then they almost won the game.
Yep.
I mean, 7.5 underdog. Getting 7. So I think they'll cover it, and I think they'll go over. Monday night game. I think people like to show out. So
I hope so. And over, well, let's see what the Joey's picks is for this game.
So you may think I'm traitorous about traitor Benedict Arnold, if you will, on picking the Packers minus 14.5. But let me remind you of a time. It was game 4 of the World Series, the Dodgers and the Yankees. I tried everything in my power to make it a series. So much so that I bet Dodgers money line. Guess what didn't hit? Dodgers money line. The Yankees won. So that is solely why I'm picking Packers minus 14.5, because I want that game to be a game. I want it to be interesting. It's not going to be interesting because it's going to snow and it's cold as shit. And Southern teams do not do well in cold, frigid temperatures. So I took the Packers minus 14.5 and the under.
I like it. We're throwing jinx out on
Yes.
on the podcast.
reverse
I like
psychology is what that's
Yes.
called.
Because here's the thing.
psyching them out,
Because
baby.
here's the thing.
Psyching them out.
If I pick this and the Saints lose, they're not going to lose close. I win money. But if the Saints keep it close and show some fight, I'll feel better about the loss.
I'm gonna be 100% honest with you, buddy. I'm way more invested in my pocketbook than fucking the Saints this year.
When I bet $1,
I'm invested in the Saints moving up the draft board.
Hey, we moved up from 10 to 11, big dog. Whoop, whoop.
I mean, from 11 to 10.
11 to 10, whatever. You know what I mean.
Yeah, I saw a mock draft. They had him picking the cornerback from Michigan.
I wouldn't hate that. I've also seen one where they got the edge from Field Yates, who had the edge from Texas A&M.
Yeah.
So draft needs, if we're going to do that real quick, wide receiver, could use some secondary help depending on how free agency goes, and edge. And offensive line. Guard,
Yeah.
especially.
offensive line, defensive line.
The trenches.
Oh, did you see the Saints made moves today? They added some depth to the practice squad. They got Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Hold on. Yeah, I don't have a fuck to give about that.
Yeah.
That's like signing Ben DiNucci. Like, who gives a shit?
Well, the dude's got PTSD and hasn't played all year. I don't know why they think all of a sudden he's going to. That's why he's not playing. He got someone tried to rob him. He killed them, and now he is having severe PTSD from killing someone defending himself.
So let's bring him to a city that has the worst crime in the country, because that's a great idea.
No, all joking aside about that, I hope he's okay with that. That's mental health is very important. That's wild. It must have been a heck of a scene, but yeah, it's insurance policy. It's just to have a body just in case we need somebody.
Yeah, it's depth. It's
exactly.
You know, your skill position players are depleted as they are, that they're pulling people who half of the league has never heard of.
Dude, I'm pretty sure Austin Pettis hadn't played football in 2 years before we had him.
Yeah.
Like, or Dante Pettis.
I'm pretty sure they're making people up. There was like a guy that caught the ball was like fucking Kevin Smith or something. I was like, did they just give this dude a jersey and like take him out to stands? Oh, he looks fast.
They got to create a player in the back of the stadium. You know what I mean? John Smith, go ahead.
So
They found a guy that they found a guy that looked like Puka Nacua, so they called him his brother. Throw him out there.
Yeah, right.
Draft needs. Do you think if the Giants stay at 1, it's a lock they're going to take Sanders?
It's either him or Ward, depending on who they like more. Admittedly, I haven't dove into Cam Ward's tape as much as I probably should have yet, but I would take Sanders. The arm's not strong. It's more of a presence, accuracy kind of thing. Now, you could be running into another Bryce Young, but if you surround him with talent, he'll be all right. But I would go Shedeur right now.
It would depend on what you do at GM and coach and what direction they want to go. Do they want a Cam Ward? Do they want a Shedeur? I'm with Tyler. I think I would take Shedeur. But like he said, I haven't seen enough of Cam Ward to know. So,
yeah.
I mean, neighbors can stretch the field. You don't want someone to get them the ball down the field.
So Neighbors is more, to me, at least the way they're using them now completely change. They're using them more as an intermediate kind of field stretcher. It's like more crossers, that kind of thing. So that's where I think Shedeur would be more of a fit if this current regime stays. Now, if you're going vertical, then yeah, Cam Ward will probably be the better option, right? Like I'm talking about straight 9 routes. Like I'm not talking cross and overs. That it is a slight difference without going too far into the weeds on it. But
yeah.
no, but I mean, I'm glad we're talking about the draft a little bit. I will be making my stake because Shane knows I was pretty on it last year for prospects that are now performing in the league. I'm just saying, I'm gonna toot my own horn on that one. So we're gonna do draft specials. I will plant my flag on 4 players this year, and we'll see how it goes and going into next year. How's that
Who
sound?
did you plant your flag on this year?
Ladd
Who was your
McConkey.
picks from this year?
It was Ladd, Brock, Xavier, Leggett. He hasn't gotten there yet, but I've seen enough to be convinced. And then
Xavier or Leggett.
Xavier Leggett. And then I was more of a I liked Worthy. I didn't put my flag on him, and then Malik Neighbors was my wide receiver 1 the entire time. And y'all know that. I will go to bat on that one.
I don't think he's looked that great.
Who, Neighbors?
Yeah, no.
I mean, who's his quarterback been?
Well, I get that, but I'm just saying that I agree with you that he was the clear-cut 1, but he has not looked great.
No, he's definitely slowed down. The start of the season, though, he was on a torrid pace of going. I think he was on pace for like 1,700 yards and 115 receptions. It's just they need a quarterback to help him out. He's gotten nicked up with injuries, of course, but Ladd McConkey, same thing, nicked up with injuries. But man,
He looks solid,
dude. Every time I watched him at Georgia, I was like, "This is Cooper Kupp," and it's not just because he's white. Like everything I watched, it was Cooper Kupp.
The Worthy thing, I seem like he's coming on lately, but I seem like they're like worried about him catching the ball. So all they're doing is like either handing the ball off to him or throwing like the ball right out to the flat and just trying to let him run because he's fast. But he's dropped some serious, like, because I have him in one league.
I have him too.
I was hoping for high hopes for him. I like when the guys come out of nowhere, like Bucky. McMillan's looked good.
Yeah.
I think Rome will be good if Keenan Allen leaves, but
yeah, there's just too many mouths to feed
so.
with Rome being there. Marvin Harrison's a weird one, man. With me, like the numbers are there. Like he's leading rookies with touchdowns, and he's pretty up there just in general with touchdowns. But there's just games where it just seems like Kyler just doesn't have a connection with him, right? And
I think it's definitely a connection thing.
Yeah, I do too. It's weird though, right? And then it's also the one thing that concerned me about Marvin Harrison coming out was separation issues, right? He's a great route runner and everything like that, but if somebody doesn't get fooled on his like head fakes or anything like subtle movements, they can stick with him. He doesn't have that breakaway speed, and some of that's kind of rearing its ugly head in the NFL.
Yeah,
but I didn't want to turn this into a draft episode. Y'all know me. I'm just very excited about the draft.
That's for March.
Yeah, that's
we
for March.
Doing that in March.
Yeah.
But is there anything else you want to talk about today, gentlemen? I think we covered a lot of good hits. Hopefully, make some money. We talked about some good storylines. But yeah, it should be a fun weekend. We got the college football playoffs starting on Friday as well.
I cannot wait for that.
It's just gonna be a great freaking week of football, gentlemen. And I hope.
Oh yes, just a little fun fact for you. I did write this down.
Yeah, go ahead.
Starting tomorrow, over the next 12 days, we have 9 days of football, NFL.
Oh, it was like
9 days of NFL football on top of obviously having nonstop college football.
So you got tomorrow night, nothing Friday,
Thursday,
Saturday.
You got Thursday night football, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Yep.
Then you got Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
The only thing that sucks is, I will say this, is you're going to have NFL games competing with the college football playoff for eyeballs.
They're going to be competing with my bets.
I mean, the only thing, like, I think it's the SMU Penn State game is during the day, and then
yeah, but they're on Friday though.
Is it the 10th? No, is that Friday?
The 20th. They're on the 20th.
Yeah.
There's one game on the 20th.
Two, at least two, I think.
No, there's one.
I thought there was one at 3.
There's 3 games. I'm pulling it up now. College football playoff bracket. Okay. On the 20th at 7 p.m., you have Indiana at Notre Dame. And then on the 21st, Saturday at 11 Central Time, you have SMU Penn State. At 3 o'clock, you have Clemson and Texas. And then at 7 o'clock, you have Tennessee, Ohio State.
Okay. Well, Oops.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the only thing that kind of like I
They
get they're
make
trying
split
to.
screen for Joey. Split screen, baby.
Hopefully, YouTube TV will allow a multi-view of that because I will utilize the shit out of it for sure.
Or you just pick a game and watch it.
Well, then I'd be picking the college
They make
football game 'cause
iPads
I'd rather watch the
Yeah.
college football game than the
Well,
NFL games.
I'm and to each their own. I mean, it is the playoffs. I get that. But anyway, it's just a great day. It's just a great day of football. Week
Oh,
football.
I do have. So I have a question. I know this is the betting show, but I want y'all's opinion because it's a hot topic around this time of year for college football players. So you remember the guy from Last Chance U?
Joey, they made 6 seasons of that show. You got to be a little more specific.
The coach, the head coach, the crazy.
Like I
one
said,
that's
they
on-
made 6 seasons of that show. You got to be a little more specific.
that one from
And
Mississippi.
I never watched any of them.
You know
Like
the
I
one from
said-
Mississippi that yells, that screams and hollers. Now he's got his own podcast. I know you know who it is.
Well, I'm thinking of the one from Kansas.
JB, I think
Yeah,
is his name.
yeah, it's Jason Brown. That's the dude from
Yeah.
Kansas. Yeah.
Oh, Kansas. I don't know why I thought it was Mississippi. So he said on his podcast that they were talking about players who opt out now. What do you like? What's the thought process of it, or what do you think of it? And he said, "No, you're going to play for me. We pay you to play. We pay you to play for this school. I paid you that NIL money. You're going to play."
Yeah. Well, also too, is that NIL money going to help them if they blow their ACL out? Are y'all going to be there and give him the career earnings that he was going to get beforehand?
So then Cam Newton got a hold of it, and because he does all that kind of stuff, and they asked him that question. So what are your thoughts? And he said, if your mom and dad miss out on a day of work, do they still get paid? And they're like, no. So he says, okay, then if they're going to be
comparison
professionals,
doesn't hold up.
he goes,
Doesn't
if you treat them
hold
like
up.
professionals, if you're calling them professionals because they're not student athletes anymore, they're professionals, then they need to be paid like professionals.
They're not professionals. They're student athletes who have name and image likeness deals.
I'm just waiting. I just want to see what happens when a player opts out that's got a lot of NIL money. What's going to happen?
Nothing.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
The contract's not for him playing, Joey. The
Yeah,
contract's
it's
for
his
his
name,
name,
image,
image,
and
and likeness.
So the bigger problem with the NIL and what they should do is if you sign on to take this money, the only way you should transfer out of the college that you're playing is if the coach changes. Because if the coach changed who recruited you there and you've got the NIL money, in my opinion, you should honor that because you came to play for the coach, you took the money. But they don't have to. There's nothing saying they do. I think they should change it. But those guys, once again, their body is their business and is their future. They don't have to play in the bowl game.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Look,
I
don't like it, but they don't have to do it.
I think what's going to happen is you're going to have a coach that's going to challenge that, or they're going to have some kind of something written in a contract somewhere where it's going to challenge that. And that's where you're going to see, okay, what do we do from here? And that's where changes will get made somehow.
Challenge what?
They can't challenge it, Joey. That's why Nick Saban's not coaching football. Because he wanted to coach based on that level of integrity.
Well, you're gonna have a booster who's gonna sit there and say, "Oh, I want this guy to come play here," and then because it's the Wild West right now with money and all that stuff, so then if like that Bryce Underwood kid, let's say he does good enough at Michigan where he's worth that $10.5 million that he got, what's gonna happen if there's an important bowl game to the booster that paid it and they go, oh, well, I don't want to play. It's like, well, what the fuck?
Time out. Okay. First and foremost, when you say important bowl game, are we talking like the Hellman's like mayonnaise bowl? Because any important no.
It's just a bowl game. But at the end of the day, it's a game. I'm saying the booster's not going to understand that when it's his money.
Well, okay, but I understand that. But I think most boosters, if they're not playing in a major bowl game, being the playoff, because most major bowl games are in the playoff, aren't going to really give a shit if Joe Blow's playing in the Popeyes Bahamas Bowl.
And guess what? If they do care, if he misses a college playoff game, there's nothing they can do about it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
And there's nothing that's going to get signed off on it that's going to make them play. They can't do it. They opted out before they played them. before they paid him. So there's no way to put something like there's a better chance of making them honor staying at the school that has given them the money, because that's like a lot of people are complaining about Oregon that basically all they did was take polished quarterbacks who've been developed and let them transfer there, and they've been competing with those quarterbacks that other people paid and other people polished. But there's nothing they could do.
I think I think at the end of the day, it's more a transfer portal problem than it is a.
Well, you brought up the opt-out thing. I don't think the opt-out thing's an issue. It's their body. You know, like I said, if I'm planning to Popeye, and I don't mean to keep crapping on the Popeyes Bahamas Bowl, but
I mean, it doesn't exist anymore. So
yeah, so we'll keep crapping on it. Or the RNL Carriers Bowl. Like, yeah, if I'm going to be a first-round draft pick, screw that. I'm not risking myself for a third-rate thing, because guess what? My knee gets blown out. That college ain't going to give a shit about me. What I just did for them.
If I'm a 7th round or higher draft pick, I'm not. There's nothing wrong with them playing. They have to get on a team, and they have to try to perform and earn money.
Yeah,
if they
exactly.
earn the money in college and they're going to the draft, there's no more money in college for them. So they have to work on the future money. So
I think people saw the main extreme of people from Florida State opting out because of the controversy of the Jordan Travis.
Well, the entire, like, Marshall basically had to back out of their bowl game because all the team left, but that was because the coach had left.
Yeah, I mean,
so that's where people are kind of bringing this back up, where it's like, why is this allowed? You have a non-bowl eligible team now playing in a bowl game.
Well, go talk to Jalen Smith from Notre Dame and let him tell you why it's stupid to play in a bowl game. That dude went from a top 5 draft pick to a 2nd rounder because he blew out his knee for school pride. Are they paying the rest of his career earnings? No. So I have no problem with people opting out, especially now that you're paying them. Screw it. There's no pride there. It's a business, and they're making business decisions. And I kind of want to talk about Shane's thing about the Oregon quarterbacks going there. I don't hate that though. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't hate it.
If you don't,
they're just hating on it.
Yeah, that's the system though, right? That's like hating on an NFL team for getting a #1 draft pick. That's just a system that's in place.
Yeah, I just think that more of if you commit to the money, and this is like I said, my opinion. If you're going to commit to go playing for the coach, you should have to stay there for a year or two. You know, I mean, you got this guy in Florida is basically now trying to renegotiate and say he has to start outside linebacker. He has to play on 3rd down. They have to give him $40,000 a week. Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's where it gets to the extreme of, okay, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, look, when we're at the point now where we need GMs for college.
When I saw Michael Lombardi as the GM for the University of North Carolina football team, I'm like,
right?
What the actual fuck are we doing?
I mean, it's pretty funny that you got fucking two of Pat McAfee's guests are now just running UNC football program.
Yeah. Well, we got off topic there for a little bit. Sorry.
Yeah, it's all good.
I just wanted the opinion of y'all about that whole thing.
Yeah. No. This is what the podcast is for, gentlemen. But look, let's wrap this up. If there's nothing else we want to talk about, I will say great picks, great insight, gentlemen, and I hope y'all enjoyed it. And if you're listening, leave us a like, drop a subscribe. We're providing great content left and right for y'all, and please let us know what y'all want to hear. And we'll be back with y'all next week with a recap and another ATS show. Wrapping up this edition, I'm Tyler, your host, with Shane, with Joey. Y'all have a good one. Peace.